Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. The White House says it welcomes the Supreme Court's decision to hear a case that challenges part of the president's health care law. The challenge comes from two Christian-owned companies. They say the law violates their religious freedom by forcing them to cover contraception in their employees' health care benefits. Heather Sells has the latest.
Hobby Lobby founder David Green owns the Oklahoma-based Christian arts and crafts store chain. Sharing the gospel, he says, is the driving force behind his quest for success.
There's so many decisions that we have to make that we just can't make without God, the Holy Spirit guiding us, and it has been very important for us and our family to lean on the Holy Spirit.
Green employs 13,000 full-time employees and does his best to care for them. Over the years, he's raised the minimum wage to $11 an hour, closed his stores on Sundays to allow employees time for family, and even hired chaplains to minister to his workers. But he objects to the Obamacare mandate that requires employers to subsidize birth control as a part of employee health care benefits. Green believes life begins at conception and opposes any birth control that prevents the implantation of a fertilized egg in the uterus. Hobby Lobby and about 40 other companies have filed suit over the birth control requirement. The Supreme Court will now decide whether the religious views of company owners can trump a government mandate.
This would be the first time that the Supreme Court has ever recognized that corporations are protected in their religious liberty in the same way that living, breathing human beings are.
White House spokesman Jay Carney says the health care law, quote, puts women and families in control of their health care, and notes that churches are exempt from the mandate. So far, the lower courts have been divided on the issue. Supreme Court justices will likely hear arguments in March and decide by late June. Heather Sells, CBN News.
And it's not just companies that are fighting the birth control mandate. 40 nonprofits, including Christian colleges, hospitals, and ministries, have also filed suit. They're arguing their religious freedom is being trampled on by the government.
The Obama administration is trying to limit tax-exempt groups' ability to campaign politically. The Treasury Department and the Internal Revenue Service want to change the rules for so-called social welfare groups. They want to block them from gaining tax-exempt status if their primary mission includes running political ads and registering or educating voters. The move comes as we still wait for legal battles to play out from the Tea Party groups who were harassed by the IRS after seeking tax-exempt status. Ways and Means Committee Chairman Dave Camp said this smacks of the administration trying to shut down potential critics.
The Christian owners of a bed and breakfast in England who refused to rent a room to a gay couple have lost their appeal at the UK's highest court. Peter and Hazel Mary Bull were sued and ordered to pay damages for turning away a male couple at their establishment. The Bulls appealed to the Supreme Court asking for a reasonable accommodation of their religious beliefs. They say their policy is based on their Christian belief that marriage is a union of a man and a woman. The court dismissed the case, saying the policy amounted to sexual orientation discrimination. The ruling is the first of its kind to be handed down by the UK Supreme Court.
Congressional Democrats are growing increasingly worried about the problems with Obamacare. Politico reports they're ready to launch their own attacks against President Obama if the healthcare website isn't fixed by the end of the month. Many Democrats are not confident the administration has a plan to fix Obamacare's failures or help them in next year's elections. They're worried the problems could lead to their defeat in 2014.
The national marketing strategy for Obamacare is estimated to cost about $700 million, but just as concerning as the extremely high price of the campaign is the kind of ads it's running throughout the nation. Wendy Griffith has more.
The campaign's main targets are mostly the working poor and young people. And while AARP is encouraging parents to nudge their kids about health insurance by sending them e-cards, an ad for Colorado's insurance exchange is pitching birth control coverage for random sexual encounters. With the tagline, "Let's get physical," this ad shows a young woman boasting about how easy it is to get birth control with Obamacare. So all she has to worry about is getting a guy between the covers. Despite the controversial and expensive attempts to convince Americans that buying Obamacare is a good decision, Republicans say it's still a disaster.
Well, certainly the rollout itself and a malfunctioning website isn't the problem. Obamacare itself is the problem. You know, a road towards socialized medicine that's unaffordable and unasked for, unpopular, it's not workable. That's the problem. People want Obamacare scrapped.
You know what? On average, the latest report says 41% premium increase throughout the nation. And in 5 states, the premiums have gone up 100%. We have to scrap it and start anew and get a bipartisan consensus that actually puts the patient first and lowers the premiums.
Wendy Griffith, CBN News.
The mayor of Philadelphia and other city leaders are warning they won't tolerate the knockout game in their city. Political leaders and law enforcement are fighting back against the sometimes deadly attacks where teens approach strangers and try to knock them out, sometimes with a single punch. The attacks have happened in several states. At least 2 people have died. Reports say some of the attacks are racially motivated. This surveillance video shows one Pittsburgh victim getting knocked unconscious last year.
It's disturbing. It's frightening. I'm grateful that I'm here to talk about it. You know, it was a terrible thing, but it's not comfortable looking at it.
This Brooklyn man suffered a traumatic brain injury after his attackers sucker punched him in the face and fractured his skull. Now the 62-year-old is in a nursing home.
This was one punch. Innocent man walking down the street, minding his own business, and his life has changed forever. And it's never going to go back to what it used to be.
It's hard to confirm, but numerous reports indicate the victims are being attacked for their race or religion. In one case in New York, police have charged assailants with a hate crime for targeting an Orthodox Jew.
From Florida to Maine, millions of people along the eastern seaboard are dealing with snow, sleet, and rain today from that massive storm system. It's threatening Thanksgiving plans on one of the busiest travel days of the year, with dangerous roads and hundreds of delayed or canceled flights. In North Carolina, widespread damage after a possible tornado touched down, damaging homes, knocking down power lines, and injuring several people. And in New York City, the storm system threatens an 87-year tradition, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. High winds could cause the big character balloons to be grounded.
Just 6 months ago, one of the most destructive tornadoes ever recorded leveled parts of Moore, Oklahoma. To encourage this community south of Oklahoma City, the organization known as Mercy Chefs provided a hearty Thanksgiving meal. Mark Martin has the story.
The massive EF5 tornado injured nearly 400 and took the lives of 23 people, including 7 children at Plaza Towers Elementary. 210-mile-per-hour winds destroyed the school. A memorial of 7 crosses honors the lives of the students. The 2-mile-wide tornado also leveled Briarwood Elementary. Teacher Donna Goodman hunkered down under a desk with 15 students when the twister hit.
All of a sudden I saw daylight. And I realized that the roof was coming off. And then I just remember shutting my eyes really tight, holding on to the kids that I could touch, and telling them it was going to be okay. We were going to make it.
A hot Thanksgiving meal provided by Virginia-based Mercy Chefs and Southgate Baptist Church in Moore helps a community that's been through so much to heal.
One of the things we hope that they don't experience today is the feeling of just being in another line for a handout. We want to set a table of hospitality. We want them to feel welcomed and valued. We want to serve them.
Forget about their problems for a while. It's nice to see that expression on their faces when that level of anxiety leaves their face, leaves their body for a moment.
As much as anything else, I love to see the church be the church, and to see people from all kinds of backgrounds, all denominations, were able to come together and serve and have one directive and one motive, and that is to care for people and to share and to show the love of Jesus Christ.
We're always thankful for our families, for our homes, for the God who saved us. But this year, people are going to realize what they were saved from. People were saved from death. People were saved from destruction. People were pulled out from rubble where they should have not survived. And it makes you more thankful for the life that you have.
In this season of Thanksgiving, survivors of the Moore, Oklahoma tornado share a meal prepared by generous, merciful hands. It's a boost to those who have suffered great loss and press on to rebuild. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Coming up, showing the love of God to the typhoon victims in the Philippines. See how one pastor is moving past his own grief to help other survivors.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dollar. He taught me the true value of this paper dollar. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
The Cross Memorial at Ground Zero is again at the center of a legal dispute. In 2012, a federal district court dismissed a lawsuit by an atheist group claiming the Cross Memorial was unconstitutional. But now the group has filed an appeal in the case, saying they are suffering from both physical and emotional damages from the mere existence of the cross. The American Center for Law and Justice is asking the appeals court to uphold the lower court's decision. The ACLJ notes the Supreme Court has ruled exhibits like the cross are allowed by the Constitution.
The White House is pleading with Iran for the release of 3 American hostages, including Pastor Saeed Abedini. White House spokesman Josh Earnest says Obama brought up the U.S. prisoners during a phone conversation with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani earlier this fall. The White House asked the Iranian regime to consider releasing the Americans on humanitarian grounds.
Aid is still urgently needed several weeks after Typhoon Haiyan battered the central Philippines. Survivors are trying to cope with the loss of loved ones, homes, and possessions. But as Lucille Toulousan reports, some are still unselfishly helping others, like one pastor who lost half of his family in the disaster.
2 weeks after Typhoon Haiyan struck, villagers are still struggling to survive.
This is probably one of the reasons why the people in the interior communities find it so difficult to go out to where they can get medical aid and to where they can get relief goods.
The stinky piles of garbage are everywhere. Dead bodies are still being discovered, like the granddaughter of this man, Rico, who stopped us to share his heartache.
That is my granddaughter along the road. We just found her this morning. The other one is still missing. We also lost our house. Everything is gone.
This lady pastor accompanied us. She prayed for Rico and invited him to attend church. Many like Rico have turned to God because of the tragedy. But even the most faithful church workers have also experienced hardship and loss.
So this is where Pastor Dante lives, and this is where his 3 children were swept away by the surging waters.
We were holding on to the beam of our ceiling when the big waves collapsed our house, and we were swallowed by the big waves.
Only one son survived. When the water subsided, they found the bodies of their sons aged 13 and 7 clutching each other, while the body of their 5-year-old daughter was found the next day underneath a neighbor's dog who guarded her overnight.
We will miss them so much. We worked so hard for their future. They helped us in our feeding ministry. We feed the children, but all that is gone. We don't know where to start, but we believe God will not forsake us. He has a purpose why we are still alive.
Dolor is also grieving over the death of her mother and 13 other family members. The news team noticed a wound on Dolor's foot. We took her and surviving family members to a CBN Disaster Relief Medical Clinic. A doctor examined and cleaned Dolor's wound. She was also given anti-tetanus shot, vitamins, and medicines for her family. The family appreciated time with the CBN counselor who listened to them and prayed for their needs.
We did not expect that people like you will come to help us. Your smiles make our hearts smile as well. Thank you so much for comforting and encouraging us. This is a very difficult time for us, but we shall cling to the Lord because He alone gives us strength. And we will cling to His word because His word alone will sustain us. I dreamt of my son. He said, "Papa, don't worry about us. We are together here and we are very happy."
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Tacloban, Philippines.
Up next, making sure your Thanksgiving turkey is not only tasty, but safe for your family's health.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Well, Americans are gearing up for Thanksgiving tomorrow, but if you are about to defrost that turkey, there is something you should know.
That Thanksgiving turkey could be dangerous if you don't handle it right. Lori Johnson tells us how you can avoid some of the hazards that come with your turkey dinner.
Although it may look safe, your Thanksgiving turkey could be contaminated with salmonella. Dr. Philip Snyder says for most people that would ruin their holiday weekend, but for others it can be deadly.
People usually develop diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps, and they will start to feel just flu-like symptoms. And most people will get through these just fine in 4 to 7 days. People who are very young, like infants or young children or elderly individuals or somebody with a compromised immune system, they will have a harder time fighting the infection.
Salmonella is found in raw turkey. Chef David Miller is an instructor at the Virginia Culinary Institute. He says turkey should be thawed in the refrigerator, not at room temperature.
If you have to rush it, the best way to do it is under cool running water in the sink, so the turkey is covered, but the water stays running the whole time. The water should be draining.
Put your bird on a pan in the fridge because the raw juices can infect everything they touch. Something to keep in mind while you're preparing it.
So after you're handling a raw bird, you need to make sure that then the surfaces are cleaned, your knives are cleaned, and you wash your hands real thoroughly before handling anything else.
To kill bacteria, use soap. Or to be most cautious, mix a tablespoon of bleach into a gallon of warm water. And use paper towels because sponges can be a breeding ground for bacteria. No offense to Grandma, but the old-fashioned way of cooking turkey for a long period of time at a low temperature just isn't safe because it doesn't kill any bacteria that might be in it. The oven should be at least 325 degrees. Cook the turkey until it reaches 165 degrees at the innermost part. Most chefs do not recommend stuffing a turkey because by the time the stuffing reaches 165 degrees, the rest of the turkey is overcooked. Now, when it comes to Thanksgiving leftovers, beware of a different kind of bacteria, E. coli.
Anytime you get a foodborne illness, it will take anywhere from 12 to 72 hours to know that you're starting to get the symptoms. So oftentimes it's very difficult to know when it is a foodborne illness versus a viral infection that can give you intestinal symptoms.
The bacteria danger zone is between 40 and 140 degrees. So make sure your fridge is cool enough and get those leftovers in there within 2 hours, separating any big dishes into small containers. Then eat or freeze those leftovers within 4 days. When talking about turkey safety, be very careful if you're deep frying it. Although it's become a very popular way to cook Thanksgiving dinner with lots of hot oil and an open flame, it can also be very dangerous. Overfilling the turkey fryer is the most common mistake. To prevent this, first test with water how much oil you'll need. Don't put your fryer in a garage or up against a wall. And make sure your turkey is completely dry and defrosted before you slowly place it in the oil. Fire Chief Tim Riley says Thanksgiving is the peak day for home fires.
Should always have gloves. Should always have eye goggles. You should never be on the deck. You should never be inside. Have a stable platform and be familiar with the operation of your turkey fryer.
There is one exception to the outdoor-only rule. That's if you're using a fryer specifically designed for indoor use. And regardless of how you're cooking your turkey, if you get a minor burn, put it under cool water. Do not put ice or butter on it.
If the skin does break, make sure and keep that area covered to prevent a secondary infection and put an antibiotic ointment on there. Some people are sensitive to Neosporin, so we do recommend you use a Polysporin. And if there is a blister from the burn, try not to pop the blister, but keep it covered as long as possible. And don't use hydrogen peroxide because that will damage the cells that are trying to repair the injury.
Hopefully, these turkey safety tips will help you and your family sidestep any mishaps and fully enjoy the blessings of Thanksgiving. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Good information, Efferman. How are you
Really
planning
good
to
advice. I can
cook
see
yours?
all the mistakes I'm making. Well, I'm going to have someone cook it for me and bring it back. So that's
Excellent.
good.
Excellent.
He'll fry it for me. I won't do that myself.
Excellent.
Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book is where it shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, now playing.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, now playing.
An inspiring story from international best-selling author Max Lucado is now in theaters.
It is called The Christmas Candle, and some say it is on its way to becoming a holiday classic.
Take two-way camera mark.
The Christmas Candle is an inspiring movie set in a simpler time in England. John Stevenson is the film's director.
It's all set in the Industrial Revolution, which is really important part of the movie, because things are changing.
Stevenson guides an all-star cast in the heartwarming story, based on Max Lucado's 2006 novel. Samantha Barks, best known for her work in Les Miserables, plays opposite Hans Matheson, from Clash of the Titans and Sherlock Holmes fame.
He lost his wife and his child, and there's a sort of hidden anger in him towards God.
Matheson plays a minister called to lead a church in a tiny village. Tom Newman is the film's producer.
If you know that you're given the Christmas candle, and everyone who's got that candle for 200 years, their prayers have been answered, what would you do to get that candle?
Newman and his fellow filmmakers say there were even miracles in the very making of this movie. They include landing singing sensation Susan Boyle for her big screen debut in a role that was actually written with her in mind.
It's a story that inspires me in that you never give up on your dreams. And you never stop believing in miracles. Because what happened to me was pretty miraculous.
And believing.
What is this Christmas candle?
The Christmas candle's no different than old wives' tales or your Bible stories.
Is the message filmmakers want audiences to receive.
We can be better for one another, and when we are in need, we believe that God is there to help us as well.
Definitely got to check that one out.
Just in time for the holiday.
Definitely. Well, that's it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.